Hey guys, welcome to Under the Arch Sports. I'm Eric Hobbs.
And I'm David Woldingen.
And here we are, the regular season finale for Missouri, Senior Day, Battle Line Rivalry, taking on Arkansas. Before we get into that, I need you guys to help us out. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, X, and Spotify. David, it went by fast. Just felt like 2 weeks ago what we were talking about A&M game, and 4 weeks ago was, the very beginning of the season.
Yeah, yeah, it was a quick one, and it didn't help that you and I both had travel and other things going on in the middle.
Yeah, the season began. I lived in Texas. Now, trying to finally. The office is the last place to finish the move. Finally got stuff on the wall you can see now. Um, yeah, 8-3 Missouri, 6-5 Arkansas, and don't call it a rivalry game. Arkansas won't because they have to win one first for it to be a rivalry.
Oh,
It's an interesting one. You look at the matchup in terms of record and some of the sheer numbers, and you might think Missouri might be a touchdown 10-point favorite even. But you look a little deeper, and you shouldn't be surprised to see it's a 3-point game, 3-point spread, that is, with those 3 points going to the home team. So effectively a pick 'em on a neutral field.
yeah, and I can kind of understand that because Missouri's defense has some glaring holes in it. Uh, Meanwhile, the offense looks like it's starting to come together finally to what it should have looked like all year, quite honestly.
Yeah.
Um, so it's definitely going to be interesting to see how this one plays out, just because there's so many things in play in this game. Not to mention, it could be potentially Luther Burden's last home game.
Yeah, he will walk with the seniors. That has been announced. So I mean, I don't think there's any expectation that Luther Burden plays next year. Frankly, I think this will be his final game as a Missouri Tiger, period. I expect him to opt out of whatever bowl game Missouri goes to. We'll wait and see on that. I, you know, I think this is the point in the video where I need to say something. We talk the senior day as we're talking about, and they're going to announce everybody. Brady Cook had better be the last one announced, even after Luther Burden. And I would strongly encourage everybody at the game to basically not let the game start. Just Cook deserves that much applause and cheering and support after everything he's gone through over the last 5 years, but especially the last 3 years. I mean, heck, some of it coming from UTA here. I said heading into 23 that if Brady Cook were the starter, Drink would be fired. Shows you how much of a genius I am. Um, for battling through all that and showing the heart that we saw that made him a legend, frankly, with the Auburn game, the hospital game. Um, yeah, the
not
kid
to mention,
deserves the biggest ovation maybe in the history of the stadium.
not to mention, he played a whole season with a torn labrum.
Yeah, which, as I can attest, that sucks. At least having the torn labrum part, I can attest to. Um, so that's my soapbox moment for this video. Now, how's Missouri going to win this thing, David? What would you do?
Uh Honestly, I would do what they did against Mississippi State. Again, everything builds off the run game, so that you
Yep.
got to keep running that stretch play. Against Mississippi State, they're getting 5 or 6 yards every time they ran it, pretty much at will. Um, Again, at points, it became we're going to keep running it until you stop it type of thing, and I could see that happening again. But at the same time, the passing game was much better. The play calls with the passing game were quite honestly phenomenal in the Mississippi State game. There were quite a few crossing patterns across the middle, which really opened things up, and that's how Cook was able to move the ball. And You may have mentioned it during the game when we were texting back and forth, but his deep ball looked on the money, and some of that may have had to do with uh he's not quite 100% with that back leg. So when he plants and puts everything on that throw early in the season, he was overthrowing everything, but now it was like right on the money. So
Yeah,
maybe,
it seems like the perfect joke to make, but I half wonder if there's something to it.
yeah. Again, no idea on that one, but he looked really good throwing the football and moving if he needed to. So
First design run play since the Auburn game or before, UMass even maybe.
yeah.
Um,
So I expect them to continue that. Kirby Moore honestly needs to just keep calling plays the way it was the last two games because they're working.
it's interesting. I'm with you in that if Missouri's able to run the ball at will, they should do it. It keeps a lethal Arkansas offense, which we'll talk about, on the sideline. And, well, if they can't stop it, they can't stop it. That said, statistically, Arkansas's run defense is not bad. It's pretty good, actually. Without having gone back and looked at film, I wonder how much the numbers are impacted by the fact that Arkansas's pass defense is not good. They're giving up more than 250 yards passing per game outside the top 100 in pass defense. So it's fascinating, I think. Missouri can impose their will running the football, but Arkansas's defense is worse in pass defense. So part of it could be how is Brady Cook, particularly with the deep ball? How is the pass protection holding up? I think a lot of that's going to impact how the offense goes. But I'm with you that if they can run the ball, I think they will.
Well, and I wouldn't put it past them to try to get the ball to Burden a lot more in this game just because it's his send off game, if you will.
Yeah. I do want to add one thing, and you kind of touched on it with the running game. I liked the fact that they noticed Mississippi State kind of selling out to stop the stretch play with Noel. So, all right, fine. Here comes Marcus Carroll right up the gut. Do something about it. Three touchdowns for Marcus Carroll later, Missouri has a 19-point win, and they didn't stop him all day. So that's good to see the adjustment made. We'll see if Arkansas can stop one or both or neither of them running the ball. If they can't stop either, well, I mean, Missouri's going to win, let's face it. If they can stop one, is Missouri willing to just say, all right, Marcus Carroll, pound the rock? Or Nate Noel, get ready to run that stretch play 20 times? Will they just do it and not get bored running the same play over and over again? So I maintain that offensive coordinators will fall into that role without thinking themselves.
Well, and it's going to be interesting in this game because there is a potential for snow. Um,
Yeah, that
uh,
it's there potentially. Kind of cold enough, close to it anyway.
little far out to actually say anything, but I know in the St. Louis area they're saying possible 1 to 3 at
Yeah.
night. But again, we're far out, so who knows on that front. And if that's the case, then I could see him just pounding the rock, if you will, all game. The other thing worth mentioning is Arkansas's offense is pretty good with the pass,
Oh
and
yeah.
Mizzou is not good at covering the pass.
Nope, not at all.
So they might, in turn, on the offensive side of things, slow things down by running the ball, eating the clock, and controlling things, not allowing Arkansas on the field if they can. One, because it wears down their defense, and two, by controlling the clock, you kind of mitigate your dangers on the defense a little bit, especially because I think Mizzou's going to have to play a lot of zone just because of how weak they are in the secondary.
Yeah, this Arkansas passing attack is it's good. The offense in general is good. Bobby Petrino, offensive coordinator, it's made some sort of difference. Let's be honest with ourselves. Having Taylon Green as your quarterback helps too. The guy's gigantic back there, first off, 6'6", 230. Second leading rusher, 400 some odd yards. So a capable runner. He He's got more than what 2,500 yards passing and 13 touchdowns. He can sling it. He does have one receiver that he looks to the most, that being Andrew Armstrong, 6'4", 200 pounds, big target. He only has one touchdown, oddly enough, but he's got more than 1,000 yards receiving on the season. I think that's going to be the target, and that's going to be the challenge for this secondary. I agree with you. I don't think Missouri has much of a choice but to play at least somewhat of an uptick in their zone play. You got to play it more often. That kind of leaves Arkansas in a situation where if they notice, all right, they're playing zone, they can motion Armstrong, or they can do it and just figure it out. All right, that's where he is, and maybe yeah, call an audible or whatever, and say, okay, we want Armstrong going against Deloach or Toriano Pride. That's a problem for Missouri. That's a big problem. With Norwood against Armstrong, he's like, all right, he can hold the zone. He'll probably get beat every now and again, but you like to think that Norwood isn't going to bite hard on a play action or just get totally lost on a double move and give up an 80-yard touchdown. That's very possible with Deloach or Pride against Armstrong. So it's concerning. Lots of cover two, I think. Make this Arkansas team grind it out. One thing, good as they are offensively, lots of penalties, lots of turnovers. What did I say? I text you the numbers now. I don't even remember them. They're what tied for 90th in turnover margin, is it?
I got it right here. Yeah, 90th in penalties per yards per game.
Penalties, there it is.
Yeah, yeah. And then 110th in turnover margin.
So maybe that's part that probably pads the stats a little bit for this offense. The fact that, well, they just gained yardage, but now they got to regain it after a penalty. And it's part of why they have such a good offense, but they're 6-5, is they're moving the ball and then they turn it over. Taylor Green does have 9 interceptions. That's something Missouri just hasn't had to deal with. Brady Cook has 2 picks this year, and they were both kind of desperation. All right. That's that's a stark contrast that could be a factor in this game. So I think if you can just keep Arkansas from having explosive plays, make them grind it out and prove that they have the discipline to not turn it over and to not commit penalties, shoot themselves in the foot like that, it becomes harder for this Arkansas team, I think. Now, we haven't talked about their running back, Jaquinton Jackson. Big dude back there at running back as well, 6'2", 230, I believe. Big, powerful guy. A load to bring down. Bunch of touchdowns. I got the number in the ticker. I don't remember off the top of my head, to be honest with you. But that's a challenge too.
12 touchdowns.
12, yeah, 12 touchdowns. Yeah, I knew it was a huge number. Uh, so you're talking about him as far and away your leading rusher as your running back, 6'2", 230. Taylor Green, the quarterback, 6'6", 230 is your second leading rusher. Those are big bodies to bring down. So, the one that will come to mind for a while, Johnny Walker just trying to lower the shoulder and hit Rocket Sanders at the 5-yard line against South Carolina. That kind of tackling is not going to get it done against big body guys like this. Even going back to Armstrong at receiver, 6'4", 200 pounds. To get these star guys for Arkansas down, they're going to have to wrap up just because they're so big. I'll also note Lucas, tight end. Doesn't kind of quietly just hanging out there. Well, he's got 4 of the 13 touchdown passes that Taylor Green has thrown. So Arkansas gets down the red zone, short passing situations. Look for Haas, the tight end, to get involved. I think that could be a factor, especially if you have Marvin Burks biting on a run. There's potential for a tight end to just leak out.
Just like every play.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
So, David,
it's
go
gonna be an
ahead.
interesting one. Sorry. No, I really
Yeah,
don't have anything.
yeah, no, you're good. Let's go ahead and get into predictions here. Um, Arkansas absolutely can win this game if Missouri does not bring a B plus game or better. Missouri has to play well to win, I think. At the end of the day, though, there's two things specific to this Saturday. After all Brady Cook has gone through, you mean to tell me this team is not going to absolutely go crazy trying to win this game for him? Brady Cook's final game, they're not going to win this for him. He's not going to do absolutely everything to win this game. Give me a break. So for that reason, Missouri's winning this game. Also, in this game, David, remind me, is is Missouri playing in this game? Is
Yes.
that is Arkansas playing against Missouri in this game on the same football field?
Yes.
Well, then Missouri wins. That's just what happens.
I'm not going to go as far as to say that, but
That's
I know I know where
that's
you're
what we
coming
have.
from
That's what
based off.
happens. I was going to pick 31 to 28, but that'd be a push. 3 point spread as of us filming. So I'll jack that up to 33 to 28 for Missouri. This is one Brady Cook's senior day. Missouri simply wants this one more than Arkansas. Let's make no mistake.
I have this at 35 to 28. Mizzou, kind of the same lines you're thinking on. Um, it's going to be a very cold game. I think the high is like 31, 32. Uh, predicted for the game. Um, I really do think it's going to be a track meet in this one, just because Mizzou can't stop the pass, and if Mizzou's offense is rolling like it is, it's going to be hard to stop them as well. So I think this one might really be a shootout. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. As you said, I don't think they're going to let Brady Cook lose this one. They're going to do everything in their power to get that
Yeah.
victory. Not only
Yeah,
for
I
him.
don't disagree with track meet. I just think Missouri running the ball and Arkansas runs the ball effectively too. I think it's not going to be home run ball after home run ball. It's just going to be effective offense. I think we'll have 900 yards of total offense.
Well, unless they just start breaking monster plays, but
That is
neither.
combined. I'm not saying any one team's getting 900. That'd be crazy.
Some college 25 numbers right
Sure.
there. But I do think Mizzou will somehow find a way to get to their ninth victory of the season and
Yep.
potentially round out this year with 10 wins. Um, Hopefully that happens, and hopefully they go somewhere decent for a bowl game. And if that happens, we'll keep you up to date with everybody who's opting in, opting out, and all portal transfers. Because buckle up, it's about to get bumpy in that
Yeah.
sector of things. I think what 2 weeks from now is when the
Yep.
portal opens. So hopefully there will be a lot of good news, not too much bad news coming out of that one. But here at Under the Arch Sports, we'll try to keep you updated with all things Mizzou football. So stay tuned.